Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Usher. Doug, man, it's fight week. How you feeling, brother?
Feel great. Feel great energy, good energy. I'm good. I'm ready to go.
So I hear a lot of fighters always say fight week, they feel great, and then after the fight, depending on what happens, they're like, oh, it was a tough cut, blah, blah, blah. Like, is that a real answer that you just gave us, man?
Yeah, it's a real answer, man. This is my first camp as a full time fighter. Uh, I've had a full time job my entire career plus a side job. So yeah, it's a lot less stressful this camp now that I work for myself now. So that was really good going into this fight camp.
Dave?
Man, you do work for yourself, but you kind of also work for me. I've got your employee this Saturday. I employed your security team a couple weeks ago. I'm your number one. I'm number one businessman. But
Yes, sir.
for the first time, I've seen someone attack you personally, and you didn't like it too much. I've known you for over 10 years. Jared said some personal things about you, and it fired you up for the first time. I was happy to see that.
Yeah, it's a bit motivating, man. I'm not one to talk a bunch of trash. He attacked I got word that he'd been talking down on my name for a very long time. Um, I didn't know that he actually wanted to fight me. I actually came to him in 2018 on the match at X3 and showed him a message from Jesse Wable about trying to match him and I. And it was me, Jared, and Nate Williams standing there. And Nate's my witness. And I say, Jared, you know anything about Jesse trying to match us up to fight? He told me no. And turns out, when you told me the other day that this guy's been trying to fight me for 4 or 5 years, I asked him about it back in 2018, and he told me he didn't know anything about it. So it's obvious he'd been trying to set that fight up since back then. So I can't duck anybody that I don't know wants to fight, or that wouldn't admit to wanting to fight me. So I don't understand how I ducked the guy. The only time I know he actually called me out was back in February, when he got cut from the UFC. I saw that he called me out in the NFC community, but I already had a fight booked in Eagle. I tried to get the fight switched to him, but they already had an opponent. So, it is what it is. But he called me out again. So, I had to accept the fight. So we'll see what happens Saturday night.
How
Yeah,
do
and I
you
think
feel?
we asked him. He just called you out a couple weeks ago, but I said, Jared, you've called him out years ago. So yeah, he called you out years ago privately to Jesse and I. I don't think we tried to make the fight happen at that point because he was going in the UFC. You were on bigger things, so we kind of never even told you he called you out years ago. But yeah, he called you out years ago. He called you out months ago, and then he called you out again 2 or 3 months ago. So yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if he would have admitted to it in the gym when I asked him in 2018, I would have been okay with it. I would have fought him at NFC, outside, wherever it is he wanted to do it. I'm not going to back down or lay down for anyone. So he wants to fight, we'll fight. No problem. I'm not afraid of anyone. I don't fear anybody. Like I said, I can't duck anybody that I didn't know wanted to fight. So I honor this challenge. So now he knows I'm not afraid of him, or maybe he still thinks I'm afraid of him. It doesn't matter. We're gonna fight Saturday night anyway. So I don't have a need to attack that man's character. I got folks in my inbox with wanting me to post a lot of the stuff that he's done. I'm not that dude. I like Jared. I'm not going to attack his character. I respect him, but Saturday night, we're going to have to see who's the better fighter, and that's it. I'm not going to talk trash to you, Jared. I'm not going to attack your character. I'm not going to talk about your mental health like you did mine. I'm not that kind of guy. My daughter just tried to kill herself 2 weeks ago. So I'm dedicating the fight to my daughter because she's going through some mental health stuff. And to anybody out there suffering with mental health, we all as an NFC community need to, say a little prayer tonight for our good friend Harrison. Harrison Aiken, he's going through some stuff with his mental health. And I've been talking to him a lot during this fight camp. So y'all keep him in y'all's thoughts, man. His daughter, his little baby had to have surgery, the other day. She's doing fine, but, he's got a heavy heart right now. He's dealing with some things. So we need to reach out and check up on Harrison if you guys can.
We talk all the time about the fights, the fight community. Obviously, you were watching the pod last week as Jared, spoke very candidly on how he felt about you and why he called for this fight, man. But we don't necessarily get into the day-to-day and what it takes to even get to the cage and make that walk. And you just kind of pull back the curtain a little bit and let us know something very personal and something very vulnerable. And you've been very vocal about the things that you've dealt with. Could you just explain to me, like, how are you able to compartmentalize, man, prepare for a fight, but also deal with, having a wife, having 2 kids, man, and having your kids, and you even go through real life situations as you're preparing and being a professional fighter?
You got to find that balance. Sometimes you have to do things to take your mind off of the fight. Watch a movie, play some video games, go for a walk, sit outside, watch the sunset. Go outside at night, sit by the fire, look at the moon, look at the stars, things like that to kind of take your mind off. Spend some time with your kids. Some people may not have kids or anything like that, but sometimes you have to find a balance when it comes to this stuff, and it's really helped me out by not working with somebody's job all day long and then trying to get off and go train when you can. Like I said, now that I work for myself, I make my own schedule, and I can train two to 3 times a day, which has really helped me out and gave me a lot more calmness and sense of peace about everything. So, as you can see, I came on the podcast smiling. You guys never see me smile. So, I'm in a good mood. I'm ready to go. I don't have anything to lose going into this fight. So that's a big relief right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going in here to fight, perform, put on a good show for the fans and a good show for the NFC, bring some more recognition to you guys. Then I think Eagle FC will be back in December or either January, and I'll go down there and finish out my contract. I got 3 more fights left on my contract, and I'm just going to have fun with this, man. Enjoy the ride while it lasts.
Your kids are at the fights. How and your wife, Miss Timms, she fights as well, man. Like, how do they react to martial arts and watching you compete?
We got the kids involved when both of them were 4 years old. So they've been Ray is getting ready to turn 10 November, and Eli he just turned 7 back in July. So they've been doing jiu-jitsu, so they was 4 years old. They've already got belts and everything. So, I introduced them to judo a little bit. I'm gonna wait till they get a little bit older, and then, because judo's a little more structured. So I'm gonna bring them back to judo at a later date. But they love it. They love it. They love going to the fights. And I think one of their favorite fights is our NFC heavyweight champion, Austin Green. Congratulations to him. Brought another belt back to the gym. So congratulations to Austin Green. Also, congratulations to my teammate Shamel Finley on an awesome job last weekend. ATT Gwinnett, those guys are on fire right now. Shout out to Team Manu, Independent, all my guys down there, the Independent and Noon, and I'm proud of all my guys, man, all my teammates. You guys are great inspiration, and man, y'all give me drive and motivation, man, to keep this thing going.
I've got one question. I think a lot of people are waiting to buy tickets till later this week. It's one of our it's not a slow selling event, but I think everyone's waiting until the week of, because I don't know if you heard me earlier. It's kind of like Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. People are only coming to see one fight. They're not coming for the rest of the fight card. The fight card's decent. We've got MMA, we've got Muay Thai, we've got a title fight, we've got pro wrestling for the first time ever, and I think we're going to see Austin Green in that cage. We've got 2 jiu-jitsu on there, including tag team jiu-jitsu. But this is only about Doug Usher versus Jared Gooden. This whole event was created for you guys, an early 5 to 9 p.m. show. Is there any chance of you or him pulling out of the fight or not making weight or anything like that?
Not at all. Not on my end. So I know I'm not going to pull out. I know some people probably said that I was going to pull. No. Never, ever, 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 ever. No, sir. I'm there. I will be on weight, on time. Matter of fact, I'll be there early. And there's no way I'm pulling out of this fight. I worked way too hard this camp. 2-a-days and things like that, man. I spent way too much money, too. I'm still spending money. So, yeah, I'm fighting, period, point blank. We coming.
And when you guys do fight, how do you see the fight going? You've trained with Jared 100 times in the past, probably. What are his weaknesses, and how do you plan to exploit it without giving out too much?
Well, I'm not going to give out anything. So, me and him got a lot of mat time together. So I don't know where he's coming from, but we've only trained 10 times. Like you saw, Nate Williams posted all those pictures from 2018, and a few of those pictures, me and Jared are standing side by side. So
I don't know if you can see
we know each other very, very well.
Hunter McKendrick just said online, I've seen both guys personally on the mats together over 25 times, is what Hunter McKendrick said. So you guys have a lot of training time together.
Right. So his last fight, when he fought Impa, I'm very familiar with Impa's style. I've watched Impa for a long time. We were sparring. Me and Jared were sparring. After the round was over with, I said, hey, Jared, because he was fighting him the next week. I said, hey, Jared, if you come down the pipe on him, keep your strikes down the middle on him, because he fights with his, he throws hooks. I said, if you come down the middle, you'll catch him with something, Jared. I said, you can beat him. I said, I believe you can beat him. You come down the middle, and then, you take him down. He's not really a ground guy. You know what I'm saying? Take him down. I was like, I believe you'll get him. You can get him. All right, bet. That's what he said. And he walked off. I had no clue this man hated my guts, and that he's been talking crap about me for the last 4 years and trying to fight me. I didn't even know. So yeah, it was a shock to me when he called me out, because I thought that after February, when he came over and started training with us at ATT Gwinnett, I thought everything was cool, So he comes over to me, hey, man, you got somebody to go with? No. Well, you got me now, baby. Let's go. Okay, cool. We touched up. We started sparring. We did that a couple of times, So I don't know where he was coming from with this beef. And from what he got from Warren, I talked to Warren after he fought Impa, and I was like, I told him to do this, told him to do that, I thought he had a good shot at beating him. I did say, yeah, when we were sparring, I landed some shots when we were sparring. I did tell Warren that, but it wasn't in a negative way. I tried to help Jared for that fight. So I don't know why he's twisting it like I'm talking crap about the man. Even though I know the man had been dogging me for a very long time, I was still respectful enough to him to help him train for his upcoming fight and give him some tips and some pointers on how to fight his opponent. Also, when he fought Ladarius Jackson at Cowboys, I came out the back and went down to Jared's corner during the fight because he kept getting taken down. As he was getting up on the cage, he was starting to strike Ladarius, and I said, no. He looked directly at me, and I was like, punch the underhook, get the whizzer, circle your hips off the cage, go to the body because he's tired. He's tired, go to the body. Jared hits him with a body shot, drops him. Jumps on him, tries to finish him off. Round ends, he comes out second round, catches him with a flying knee, puts him out. I've never done anything but tried to help Jared. So I don't know where his beef's coming from, but obviously the guy hates my guts. I'm a bitch. I'm a coward. My anxiety won't allow me to show up to the fight. I fought nothing but cans my entire career. Okay, no problem.
Doug, could you take us behind the curtain and educate me just on gym culture? Because you train with somebody, does that automatically make you and that person that you train with friends, or is there like a code there?
It's kind of sort of a respect thing, man. It's a code there. For me, like, I know I've been offered DeVorius Tubbs a few times. That's my training partner, man. And that's one of my great friends. I'll never fight him unless somebody puts 50 grand up. Then we got to fight. We got families to feed. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes friends have to fight each other like that if the money is right. You see what I'm saying? If the money is right, yeah. I mean, you don't turn up. I'd fight Oakloss for 50 grand and I'd take a dive for 75. Yeah, I'd let him win for 75 grand. Yeah, and then we go out and get drunk, get steaks afterwards, whatever, man. At the end of the day, it's a business. But you don't purposely train with somebody and then scout them just so you can call them out. That's just low down, dude.
Could you,
and I'm a martial artist at the end of the day. I'm not a fighter. I'm a martial artist. I have belts in different martial arts. So it's a respect thing for me. And I respect everybody. I still respect Jared. Even though he hates my guts, I still respect that man. Because at the end of the day, we're going to go in there like men and we're going to settle our differences. No matter who wins, we get the opportunity to fight each other. And I respect that as a martial artist. So yeah, there is a code, especially when it comes to me. I'm not going to fight somebody I purposely seek out to, train with. I'm not going to do that, man. That's just not, that's disrespectful. I'm not going to dog somebody's character. I'm not going to talk about somebody's family. I'm not going to talk about somebody's mental health or anything like that, man, because there were times when I was going through anxiety, man, where I had visions of me picking up that 9 millimeter and just putting it right here and just getting it over with. So that stuff is serious, man. You don't know what somebody's going through inside. To be making fun of them and talking bad about them and stuff like that about their mental health. You don't know what somebody's going through, you know? And yeah, it's kind of emotional. I get emotional when I talk about stuff like that because I had that thought going through my head of sitting there blowing my brains out. Depression is real, man. So, like I said, somebody going through that kind of stuff, you got to check on them while you can and try to reach out to them, talk to them, get them the help that they need because they could be gone within a matter of hours, man. And you're going to be sitting there saying, I wish I should have did this. I should have did that. It's serious. It's real serious.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, Doug Usher joining us here on NFC Now ahead of the fight of the decade against Jared Gooden this Saturday, October 15th at District Atlanta. The doors are at 5 o'clock. You can get your tickets at nfcfighting.com. Doug, I just have two more questions before we part ways. One is, could you let us into some of those sparring sessions? We had my man come on and say that he's seen y'all on the mats over 25 times. Could you just give us any insight about what those sparring sessions look like, being that that has now been a point of contention leading up to this fight?
Put it to you like this: he fights in the gym, so I'm not one to do that. I like to try to take care of my body and stuff like that. Everybody knows when I spar, it's technical. Even when I spar Jared, I know he goes hard and he punches hard, kicks hard, things like that. I just don't do that because I believe in taking care of my body. I'm in the ring and not in the gym, but that's his style and that's a few other guys' style. They like to go hard like that. But I so he's tough. He's real rounded, jiu-jitsu brown belt, hits hard, got good boxing. He's a tough dude. He ain't nobody to sleep on. He got to the UFC for a reason. I got the Eagle for a reason. UFC said for the last 4 years I was too old to get in. So, I went to Eagle and got the same amount of pay that I would have got to go to the UFC. So I've achieved what I set out to achieve in my career, but my body feels good. I don't have a bunch of miles and a bunch of injuries because I took care of my body in the gym.
Indeed. David?
I don't have any more questions. I thought you said you had two, so I was leaving it to you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday night.
Absolutely. Doug Usher, my final question is, man, we want your final thoughts. What do you want to leave us here with ahead of your big fight October 15th, man? Something on your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul that you can just leave the NFC community with today.
Well, I'm coming out there to fight my heart out. I fight for my family. I fight for my ancestors. And all of that's included in my legacy, my family and my ancestors. I have that Blackfoot Native American bloodline on both of my dad's sides, and they will be with me when I go into that ring, as they always are. So come out, see a great night of fights, catch some pro wrestling. Come out and watch me and Jared get in there and put it on for Atlanta, for the Southeast, for all the fans. Jared, I respect you, man, and I will see you Friday at weigh-ins, and Saturday we're going to go to war.
I love it. Doug Usher, we appreciate your time today, man, and I can speak on behalf of David Oblast, man. We respect you as a martial artist, man, as a father, as a fighter. So thank you for joining us, man. Look forward to watching you compete on Saturday, brother.
Yes, sir. We see y'all on Saturday.
Respect.